attention, bro. I ain't giving this no more attention, bro.
Yo, bro, you don't have to give it attention. You already gave it enough. The world knows. That's not you. You're not Whoopty.
Song Whoopty. Then you make the song Bop. That's all, boy. And you still not trying to pay homage? Then you gonna copyright our. You copyright our. Like, tell that pull up right now. Tell that pull up, nigga. Pull up right now, nigga. Pull up. Pull up. Cause it's not a game no more, bro.
So first and foremost, CJ made a hot song, but the content that he used is not his content. So his foundation is based off a lie. He's not Whoopty. He don't know nothing about Whoopty. But the kid was trying to claim it as something that he made or that him and his dudes grew up with. I didn't appreciate the fakeness and the fraudulent with that. That to me, like, that was some fraud. That was some busted.
2 years ago, CJ was riding high as one of the hottest new names in hip-hop, thanks to his explosive hit record, Whoopty. In less than a year, he went from being a relatively unknown artist from Staten Island to having a #1 hit, cosigns from some of the biggest names in the industry, and a major record deal, all with just 2 official songs to his name. But fast forward to now, and things have taken a sharp downturn. According to Social Blade, his audience has dropped by nearly 90%, and his Google Trends graph shows just how much he's faded from the spotlight. Earlier this year, reports surfaced that he was dropped from his label, marking a significant fall from grace. Let's take a closer look at what happened. Growing up in Staten Island, the home of the iconic Wu-Tang Clan, CJ's love for hip-hop started early. He spent his childhood jamming to early 2000s icons like 50 Cent, Lil Wayne, Nas and Nelly, dreaming of achieving their level of success. He started rapping just for fun when he was 16, but by the time he hit 19, he began to take his passion more seriously, recording and uploading tracks to SoundCloud and YouTube. However, as he admitted in an interview with XXL Mag, he wasn't consistent enough with his drops, which slowed his initial momentum. 50 Cent in particular had a massive influence on CJ. He shared with XXL Mag, "I was a huge fan of 50, the whole energy, the whole style, that New York vibe. The videos used to come on, and I used to imitate 50 in the mirror and recite all his lyrics. It's clear that 50's presence and swagger had a lasting impact on him, shaping his aspirations and style in the rap game." Now, when CJ released Whoopty on July 30th, 2020, the song blew up almost immediately, which raised some eyebrows for a few reasons. For one, using the Wayback Machine, you can see that he barely had 40,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel when he somehow managed to rack up 7 million views on the video. A month later, that number jumped to nearly 80 million. So how did a random Latino guy from Staten Island, New York crack the code to going viral in the modern music era? Did he just stumble upon the recipe for success that quickly? With other artists like Ice Spice, Chance the Rapper, and Baby Keem being labeled as industry plants, people naturally started to wonder if CJ was next in line. However, is it fair to claim that he simply made a banger that hit at the right place and time? In interviews that surfaced shortly after the song's release, CJ claimed that Whoopty was just a random first attempt at making drill music.
For the people that don't know, Whoopty was my first drill record I ever made in life. I never experimented with drill. I never made a drill record before that.
As you might know, drill music is a subgenre that was becoming hugely popular in New York at the time. It's also worth noting that Pop Smoke, who was seen as the face of drill music around the time CJ started blowing up, had passed away just 5 months before Whoopty came out. So there's an argument to be made that people were hungry for something new, and CJ seemed to fill a big void in the drill music scene perfectly.
Drill was just so hot at the time. I was like, yo, let me see what I could do on a drill beat. You know what I'm saying? I was just playing around. Like, I'm not a drill rapper. I had no intentions of being a drill rapper.
What makes things even more interesting is that the beat for Whoopty had already been used by Pop Smoke, King Von, and other drill rappers. So what was it about CJ's version that made it blow up? Could it be that he made the song more catchy and simple for the average listener, making it easier to sing along to? Or was there something else going on behind the scenes that he wasn't sharing with his audience? The second the song dropped, it went viral on TikTok, spawning a dance challenge that helped it climb the charts quickly. But there were some suspicious elements too. Cardi B gave the song a huge push by playing it on her Instagram story. French Montana then made CJ an honorary member of Coke Boys, gifting him a chain.
There you go. Welcome to the family, man.
Legends like Busta Rhymes featured on his songs, and even Mark Wahlberg was seen hanging out with him. Clearly something deeper was happening behind the scenes. With all these big names in his corner, it didn't seem too far-fetched when CJ said he wanted to be one of the greats, even though it was a high bar to set for someone who had just a single solo track on Spotify at the time. As industry plant allegations piled up, things went from bad to worse. During a Genius interview on November 27, 2020, CJ discussed the meaning behind the word whoopty.
Pretty much whoopty, like, is worldwide now. I got babies, saying whoopty. I got, middle-aged people, older people. Pretty much it's just like a roll call, whenever I see my guys in the street, and, that's how we greet each other.
On the surface, the interview seemed simple, but it sparked a ton of drama for CJ that would haunt his career. To understand this, it's important to know how damaging being labeled a fake gangster can be for a rapper's reputation. Fans seem to love rappers with a gangster persona, as some of the biggest names in the world are tied to some kind of gang affiliation. This was the case for someone like Gucci Mane, who literally K-worded someone in 2006, a time many consider his prime. Even Chicago rappers like Lil BB have said that Gucci's criminal past was part of what made him so appealing.
Chicago people just loved Gucci, man. He like everybody's idol, man. He like a gangster, man. First of all, he somebody for trying to rob him. And then he rapped about it, and he made all the type of diss song.
However, this only works if the rapper actually stands by their lyrics. And this is where the music video for Whoopty caused a lot of unwanted drama for CJ. As you probably know, the video shows CJ rocking red bandanas and hanging out with members of a Bloods gang from New York. This marketing gimmick has been used successfully by rappers like Slim Jesus and 6ix9ine, and it seems to work even better if the rapper isn't black. It's no coincidence that these artists' biggest songs often feature significant gang imagery to increase shock value. Of course, the success of Whoopty wasn't just because of TikTok and cosigns. The track had a killer beat and an infectious hook that you just couldn't get out of your head. But then things started to go sideways when people began to dig into what whoopty actually meant. It turned out it wasn't just some random slang CJ came up with. As he claimed in his Genius interview, no, the term had some pretty dark and serious connotations. According to the Rap Dictionary, whoopty is a noun that refers to a gang greeting, salute, or acknowledgement specifically for members of the New York Bloods. Fans and critics started questioning CJ's authenticity as a Bloods gang member. Whoopty is closely associated with the Mac Baller Bloodhound Brims, a notorious gang in New York City that's been around since 2005. This gang wasn't playing around. They were involved in some heavy stuff. Back in 2014, they the father of a prosecutor in North Carolina because they were angry about a sentence one of their own received. Another tragic incident involved a 14-year-old kid who got shot by the cops after getting mixed up with the gang. Joining the Mac Baller Brims reportedly required committing as an initiation. This was the dangerous world CJ seemed to be aligning himself with, and if he wasn't truly about that life, he was making a huge mistake just for clout. CJ's music video for Whoopty added fuel to the fire. In the video, he's seen sporting red bandanas and hanging around members of a Bloods gang from New York. This visual, combined with the lyrical content, led to even more scrutiny. He referenced specific gang members from the Bloodhound Brims in his lyrics, like when he rapped,
"Oh, this water on me like Fiji. I posted up with hats and the sleazies."
In this line, Sleazies refers to a New York rapper named Sauce-Mula, who is part of the Mac Baller family and goes by nicknames like Big Sleaze or Sleazy. Mentioning hats is another nod to members of the Brim Gang Bloods. These references shifted the narrative entirely. People started questioning if CJ was genuinely part of a gang, or if he was just borrowing their lingo and reputation to make a hit song and grab some attention. Initially, CJ didn't back down. He was adamant about being a gang member and claimed he and his friends invented the word whoopty. He even went as far as filing a trademark to own the rights to the word. But this move backfired when it caught the attention of La Brim, the leader of the Bloodhound Brims. Despite being in prison for 30 years for narcotics trafficking and firearm offenses, La Brim made a phone call to address CJ. He stated that CJ knew nothing about whoopty and that he had stolen the term, calling his song disrespectful to the entire gang.
So first and foremost, CJ made a hot song, but the content that he used is not his content. So his foundation is based off a lie. He's not whoopty. He don't know nothing about whoopty. Him and his dudes grew up with. I didn't appreciate the fakeness and the fraudulent with that. That to me, like, that was some fraud. That was some busted. Like,
This phone call severely impacted CJ's street cred, and more gang members and affiliates began questioning his authenticity. A Bloods gang member named G5 Reels took to Instagram Live to further call out CJ's inauthenticity.
Song whoopty, then you make the song bop. That's all, boy. And you still not trying to pay homage? Then you gonna copyright our. You copyright our. Like, tell that pull up right now. Tell that put up, nigga. Pull the right now, nigga. Pull up. Cause it's not a game no more, bro.
The industry started turning against him, and fans followed suit, expressing their doubts in the comment sections of his posts and videos. Facing his first major beef in hip-hop, CJ found himself in a serious situation. Then came the allegations that he stole his entire flow from other rappers. In the hip-hop world, being accused of biting another MC's bars or flows is a huge deal. Two rappers, Busy Banks and 22 G's, came out and claimed that CJ had basically jacked their whole style. Fans and critics put together side-by-side comparisons showing how CJ's style closely resembled Busy's. Check this out.
Look at my swag, the drip is contagious. Basic, I used to run up chasing really break. Slide, hop in the V, let's go for a ride. Wait, slide. She said she feeling them.
22 Jesus followed up with a Whoopty remix titled Goofy, where he dissed CJ. The song went viral, racking up nearly 1 million views, and fans were loving every bit of it. In a Reddit post discussing CJ's disappearance from the spotlight, some fans claimed that 22 GZ diss was the nail in the coffin for CJ's career. Despite the mounting criticism, CJ didn't back down. He continued to push his gang member persona, releasing a song called Hit Up where he fired shots at 22 GZ Gang, the gangster disciples, even throwing up their gang signs in the video. The song gained 3 million views, but fans were starting to worry about CJ's safety as he was now putting his life on the line. On April 7th, 2022, CJ made another bold move by appearing on DJ Vlad's show to discuss the beef, claiming he would beat up 22 Jesus and Busy Banks if they kept dissing him.
It really came down to it, like, we could squabble, you know what I'm saying? Like, we could just get it on, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it's that serious, you know what I'm saying?
From this point on, it seemed like every other week, CJ was confronted by another gang member trying to prove he was a fraud. He went on live stream after live stream to clear his name, but the threats kept coming.
Hey, bro.
I ain't giving this no more attention, bro.
Yo, bro, you don't have to give it attention. You already gave it enough. The world knows. That's not you. You're not whoopty.
In less than a year of blowing up, CJ faced allegations of being an industry plant, a fake gangster, and a flow stealer. By 2021, his entire empire began to crumble. In January of 2021, CJ's world got turned upside down when Pitchfork dropped a bombshell article titled "New York drill rapper CJ is nothing but a shameless ripoff." This piece pulled no punches, laying out how CJ's meteoric rise wasn't just a stroke of luck, but was heavily engineered behind the scenes. According to Pitchfork, the CJ phenomenon seemed like a calculated cash grab, driven by a mix of New York rap royalty connections, strategic Spotify playlist placements, TikTok virality, and major labels desperate for the next big hit. They even compared him to Dusty Locane, who also has a striking resemblance to Pop Smoke not only in sound but also in style and background. Dusty Locane hails from the same Brooklyn neighborhood as Pop Smoke and even echoes the same ad-libbed chants like Dior Dior, while Dusty's music might come off as filling the void left by Pop Smoke. His songs are undeniably catchy. Unlike CJ, who struggled to maintain authenticity and originality, Dusty's tracks, though few in number, have a certain irresistible charm that makes them stand out. The article exposed some key facts that had been kept under wraps, like the major revelation that CJ's uncle is none other than James Cruz. For those not in the know, James Cruz is a big shot in the music industry. Back in his days at Violator Management, he helped launch the careers of heavyweights like 50 Cent, Nicki Minaj, and Busta Rhymes. Busta, who as we mentioned before, gave CJ a significant feature early on. Plus, James was the president of Bad Boy Records for nearly 20 years, working closely with Diddy and managing artists like French Montana, which explains that French Montana co-signed CJ got. Having an uncle like James Cruz is a huge leg up. It means CJ had access to resources and connections that most new artists could only dream of. James could pull strings to get CJ's music on the radio, giving him a massive head start. Here's another juicy tidbit. One of CJ's first tracks dropped back in 2018. right when 6 Ice 9 ine was blowing up with hit after hit. CJ and 6 Ike 9 ine even teamed up for a track called Pop, which most people haven't heard of because it was only released on SoundCloud. Fast forward a bit, and that collab came back to bite CJ. It resurfaced online, and people on Reddit started calling him an industry plant, accusing him of riding on 6ix9ine ine's coattails. James Cruz didn't do much to help CJ's image either. In an interview discussing CJ's success, James openly admitted that he came out of retirement just to manage his nephew.
Hey, play me the record. They play me this record called Whoop-Dee. I go, shit, you got a record? Like, you got one. Like, damn, I didn't expect that. And then, so what else you got?
He didn't even try to hide the fact that he was pulling the strings, even coaching CJ on what to say and what not to say during interviews. For a rapper trying to project an image of authenticity, having your uncle openly tell you what to say is a bad look.
Somebody says, shh. Yeah, oh, we ain't supposed to be talking about that? You got to have 2 different album deals?
Already suspected of being an industry plant, this only fueled the fire. Even though CJ tried to play it cool, it was clear the public's perception of him was shifting, and it didn't stop there. When the uncleared sample on Whoop-Dee almost got the track pulled from streaming platforms, Uncle James stepped in again, taking $80K out of his own daughter's college fund to keep the song online. So despite CJ trying to sell himself as a self-made rapper who made it to the top without a deal or a team, the truth was far from the story he was peddling. At first, CJ tried to brush off all the industry plant talk just like he did with the rumors about him being a fake blood. He dropped an EP in 2021 called Loyalty Over Royalty, but honestly, it pretty much disappeared without anyone noticing. It was like he tried to pull a magic trick and vanished quicker than Jimmy Hoffa. The EP failed to make any noise, and CJ's attempt to replicate the success of Whoop-Dee fell flat. The audience that had initially helped catapult Whoop-Dee to fame just wasn't interested anymore. To make matters worse, nobody bought his excuses for the EP's failure.
Get more drill music, you know what I'm saying? Because I was getting so much love from that movement that I was like, I'm gonna do a whole EP of this shit. I did, but then I realized, I'm like, yo, like, I gotta be me, and I can't get caught up in that drill.
Fast forward to today, and CJ is still trying to dress up the fact that he chased a trend and had it blow up in his face in every interview. Sure, he had some viral success with the track Replica, but it obviously wasn't enough for him. He kept trying to make drill tracks that captured the essence of Whoop-Dee's success. In some cases, he basically copied the song note for note, and the results were pretty laughable, to be honest. By February 2023, Warner had enough of CJ and decided to sever ties with him once and for all. In the months that followed, CJ tried to spin it like it was his decision to leave and that he took his masters with him because Whoop-Dee had made him enough money to recoup his advance. But let's be real. If Warner thought there was any value left in him, they would have tried to lock him back in. People saw through his story, and it was clear the label didn't think he was capable of making another hit.